Greetings and welcome back, automatic knife fans, specifically out the front automatic knife fans. OG Blade Reviews here with you once again. And this came in, a little less than a week ago. I ordered it directly from Maxace. And for those of you worried about getting your knife, I know I've seen a lot of angst out there in some of the different knife review places like Blade Forums and so forth. That's what I'm trying to say. About, it's been 2 weeks, it's been 3 weeks. Am I going to get my knife? You'll get your knife. I've always gotten Maxace knives. I've ordered about half a dozen directly from Maxace. The rest came through White Mountain, and that's another good resource for Maxace knives. You may not find Maxace autos on some other popular automatic websites. So not sure why, but it's the box it came in, and this is what we're talking about today, the Neptune. It is about $108. Directly from Maxace. Probably going to be about the same if you get it from White Mountain. Nice snug drawer style box. Just like to show you what you're getting. Isn't so much a big unboxing, I guess it is maybe, but the unboxing shows you what do they give you with a knife. And they got a nice plastic credit card style business card here. And it's how to find them on the various social media. Put that in here. And it comes in a plastic bag and more paper. Okay, so looks something like that in case you're interested. If you're not interested, you will have already fast forwarded through all of that. Comes in a big old padded zipper pouch. I like that. And inside is the knife, of course, we would hope, a microfiber cloth, and no additional hardware or anything like that that I could find. So, I mean, that's fine. All right, get everything out of the way. Here is the Maxace Neptune. I had previously picked up their Maxace Archer when it first came out. That was only about $88, something like that. And I'm going to show you a compare in a moment with that. I'm going to show you a compare with at least one Microtech and maybe a few manual knives. All right, let's just open it up. Good deal of force needed to open this up. It was available in both a double-edge dagger style and this Tanto. The dagger style wasn't available at the time, and I think there was also a serrated dagger style. I don't believe there was a serrated Tanto, but I could be wrong. Really nice looking Tanto. It's an SLD Magic, which is a laminate steel. You can see the line right there. And that's the separation between the inner, harder core and the slightly softer skin that's put on. You could call it Sanmei rather, if you care to, but they're calling it SLD Magic. I haven't been able to find much out about SLD Magic. If you know, please put it in the comments. As to the HRC and all of that kind of stuff. So what to point out to you here, besides that blade and that beautiful grind, is that we've got a nice satin brush finish on the flat, and we've got a bead blasted finish on the grind. The grind is flat as far as I can tell. Let's see. Looks like a flat. It's possible it's a hollow. Hate to frustrate you. The swedge is obviously flat. It is multifaceted. Very nice job on the grind. Damn near perfect, really. We have traction tread, rubberized kind of stuff that Microtech uses on its knives. And certainly they set the standard for out the front autos long ago with all of their various knives, the Ultratech and the Troodon, the Combat Troodon, etc., the Cypher. So we've got this neat rubbery kind of grippy stuff in here. It seems to be extremely well glued in. They don't have any edges coming up. I mean, the workmanship on this is perfect when you consider it's $108. And the Microtechs are going for $300, $250, $400, $500, what have you. I mean, it's pretty incredible. Nice milling on the button actuator, if you want to call it that, sliding button. But they don't use the crud cutter like Microtech recently introduced. It is a strong spring action, especially on the way back. And the way your thumb works, you've got more strength on the way out than when you're pulling back, in case you hadn't noticed. So it's easy for me, relatively, to shoot it out, but a little difficult coming back. One thing I have done in the past with some knives with an extremely strong spring is, these aren't too hard to work on, and I haven't taken this apart yet. You take out the Torx, and it looks like they're T8s. Remove the cover, and inside you'll see the slide, and you'll see the blade, and you'll see the springs, and all of that. And you can take those springs out, and you can give them a little stretch gently, which weakens the spring tension a bit. And by weakening that spring tension a bit, it makes it a little easier to push it out, pull it in. Now, you don't want to go too far, because then you might get a knife that begins to misfire. And you're already thinking that, I know. The clip. So the clip has been something that on the Maxace knives that a lot of people have complained about. Personally, other than the possibility of it bending, which I haven't really had happen to me, seems like there's a good amount of tension there. It is steel, by the way. Or is it? Just a little bit of draw there. Well, that's the blade inside. So let's open her up and do that test again. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. That clip is not drawing the magnet. So that clip could be titanium. It's quite possible. The glass breaker on the end does draw the magnet. And it is simply probably a hardened piece of steel with a point on it, very defined point. But they thought about this, and although you could get your hand on it, and drag it across and possibly abrade your skin, as it comes through, it is not sharp. So that's not bad. Microtech had put an inserted ceramic bowl or carbide bowl, I'm not sure which, on theirs, but this seems to be just steel. But I'm surprised with the clip. And I'm not thinking they used aluminum on the clip, so I'm going to have to say titanium. If you know any different and you own one of these, let me know. Aluminum handle, that's for sure. And some nice milling for grip here. And it is a blade which, like Microtech, is offset. I'm going to see if I can pull my Benchmade out and give you a compare on that. Because Benchmade, I believe, is one of the few that centers their blade. Haven't had that one out in a while, so we'll see when I bring it out. So fairly good grip. I mean, it's okay. This jimping, if you want to call it that, not bad. You can, at least with the Tanto, put your thumb on top if you're inclined to do your push cuts like that. Very effective blade if you're considering it for defensive purposes. And I haven't torture tested it to see if the blade stays out when you jam it into hard stuff, but I'm sure somebody will. Pretty much a flat on the top. And we'll get to doing a little measuring. Overall length of the Neptune by Maxace. Without measuring the glass breaker, we've got, I'm going to call it an 8.9 inch overall to the glass breaker, 9 1/4, and 3 3/4 inch blade with slightly less than that, maybe 3/65-ish cutting edge. And blade stock in millimeters. 3 millimeters. Let's make sure I'm getting it right there on the flat. 0.12. I'm going to try the millimeters again in case I didn't get it down on that flat. Yeah, 3 millimeters. And the handle thickness right about there is, go to inches, 0.55. Really not too bad considering you've got to house all of the mechanism inside. You can't exactly make a super skinny handle, but I'm sure that, you know, knife makers like Hogue, I think they've got a little thinner handle, and I don't have my Hogues on the table today. Well, I have my Hogues on the table. 5 ounces. Jumps around a little, yeah, close enough, 5 ounces. Big knife, 3 3/4 inch blade. Nice grayish aluminum handle. Compare time to none other than Microtech Combat Throwdown. Oh, it's so much smoother. And they worked hard over the years to refine it. I'm not going to line up the glass breaker, but you can see the glass breaker here is a ceramic ball. As far as I know, that's ceramic with a very small housing. This is the Gen 3. In case you're wondering, it's different than the Gen 2. I don't have a Gen 2 Combat Throwdown, but this is, whoa, a bigger knife. Because why? Well, it is a 4-inch blade, and it is a 9 1/2 inch overall without the glass breaker. So, yeah, she'd be bigger. And I love this knife. Picked it up at a local gun store who hadn't restocked recently on Microtech, but finally did a few months back. And oh yeah, I jumped right on it. This is semi-serrated, partially serrated, and a very usable design, I find. And that's their treatment of the Tanto tip. And this is Maxace's treatment of the Tanto tip. Let's take a closer look. And you can see we've got, you know, kind of a clip here, and we've got a clip here. I don't know if you call it, yeah, we'll call it a clip. Slightly goes down to center that point. And here they're centering that point as well with a little bit more of a clip with the facet on top. Of course, we've got the kind of the trench sort of fuller there on the Microtech. And the switches are a little different and have kind of a scalloped ramp on the Microtech. And we've got simply a straight angled wall on the Maxace. Here's your difference in the way that they are set up. Wider here for sure on the Microtech. And we have a blackened button on the Maxace. Let me get the magnet out again. All right, so that's either titanium or aluminum. Didn't look it up. Maxace isn't always known for extensive specs. And indeed, they may even have given the HRC, because all the knife makers are beginning to realize that HRC is important to knife users. that they don't want a soft steel, particularly if it's a premium steel. And I don't know whether we'd call SLD Magic a premium steel or not. Certainly it's not your garden variety 440 or D2 or K110 or anything like that. Speaking of K110, this was my first Maxace OTF. Let's back out a little. And this is the Archer wasp-waisted double edge. And it is in Bowler K110, which is kind of a fancy name for D2. And you can see that this is actually about, I'm going to call it slightly longer than the Neptune. That's interesting. Didn't think it was going to be. But yeah, it is. So we're over 3 3/4. We're about like a 3/8, 3/8/5, something like that, with a overall opened length of 9 1/8. So the Archer, this was an $88 knife. This is kind of a big wonkin' clip here. It's actually wider than the Neptune's clip. The Neptune's clip pretty much is as wide as the traction inserts. So yeah, and what they did on this one, it's very similar, okay? It's a very similar glass breaker, persuader, whatever you want to call it. There was one other part that came in the Neptune box, and all it is a long steel rod that is meant to go through the hole in the glass breaker. You slip it through and you use it like a wrench. You just take it off. Now, they don't give you any replacement part in case you wanted to switch the clip over. And the clips are not switchable on these because this is grooved into the aluminum to accept that clip down one side. It may not make a difference. Well, it does make a difference because you want the actuator on the top where your thumb is, right? So it isn't exactly transferable to the other side, whereas Microtech does give you a system for removing a beautiful titanium milled clip on the Gen 3 Troodon. It's a combat Troodon, by the way. And they have put this large ceramic ball in there, which is pretty smooth. What you do is you just need to crank that out. It is a large Torx, maybe like a T25, T30, I don't know. You take that out and you can easily switch it over to the side because it's grooved out for it. So there is that compare. See if we can keep them all in the picture. Put the two Maxaces next to each other. Combat Troodon there. And I did say I had one more, and that is the Autocrat from Benchmade. And I got to tell you, that is smooth. That's as nice in action as the Microtech Combat Troodon Gen 3. Lots of milling on this. The thing I liked about this initially is it's not a cold handle. So we have G10 slabs or covers. We have an aluminum chassis, and we have Microtech's fairly typical deep carry clip that is transferable to the other side. You would think with a double-edged knife that you wouldn't need a transferable clip, but this is the way it works. It goes in your pocket this way, put the clip on that side, goes in the left-hand pocket, the button's always up. So if you switched it, let's say on the Neptune, if you could switch it, it wouldn't make it much different. Well, it would make it different. It would give you the button on top. I don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, it is, we would have to do it that way on the left pocket, and then that would put the button on the bottom. So there you go. Neptune and Archer, Combat Troodon. And this is what I was talking about with the Benchmades. We've got the opening hole for the blade straight down the middle. Does it make a difference? Not really. I mean, is the blade centered on the handle on the Microtech? No. but it's so close that, you know, in cutting and so forth and thrusting, you're really not going to see a difference. You're not going to feel a difference. Size-wise, this blade on the Autocrat is 3 3/4. Overall length is 8 3/4. So about the same overall length as the Neptune. If I can take these out. They did such a good job. How about, you're probably asking yourself right now, is he going to talk about blade wiggle? Well, we've got blade wiggle, a small amount, on the Combat Troodon. We've got about the same on the Benchmade. On the Archer, little bit tighter, And on the Neptune, a little bit tighter. So we have a little less blade slop side to side and up and down than there is on the Microtech. Ever so slightly. I mean, you can see it move a little bit. But now, of course, Microtech has come out with their new line of out the fronts that have 0 blade play. And you're going to trash all your old ones and trade them in for that one, right? I'm not. No, I'm not. So let's get some of the other hardware out of the way here. And this is really almost takes 2 thumbs. That is a strong spring, really, on both of these. I would say the Archer is just a little bit harder spring than the Neptune. Microtech's beautiful. There's the actuator on the Microtech slide button, whatever you want to call it. Really nice, really nice. Thing about the Autocrat is it's a 0 degree on one side and it's ground only on the other side. I saw somebody from Worksharp who's a sharpening expert. He did a great job using their Worksharp Pro angled, fixed angled, adjustable angle sharpener. Forget the full name of it, Worksharp. I've got one. Anyway, he was perfectly able to sharpen this bevel and then just touch it on the other side and not remove any of the coating. It was pretty incredible. Yes, S30V on that. And I'm sure I mentioned that the SLD Magic on this guy, SLD Magic on the Archer. No, sorry about that. I already said it was Bowler K110. You'll build some thumb muscles if you get the Archer for sure. Well, there we go. Do we have, what kind of an edge does it have? Let's find out before we leave. All right, so the factory edge on Maxace Neptune SLD Magic. Not bad if you do it right. Yeah, nice. You know, it's a smooth edge. Get it out in the frame. Why not? Let's do that again in case I wasn't in frame. I wasn't watching my monitor. I was watching my hands. Okay. Yeah. I mean, obviously draw the blade when you're cutting paper. If cutting paper is your thing, we know that's not a real world test, but everybody uses paper or they use newsprint if it's really a polished edge and so forth. It's a draggy, shaving sharp edge, but it is not very toothy. I will say that. While I got the paper out, you want to see the sharpness of the other ones? Sure we do. Troodon, Combat Troodon. Yeah, hard to beat a Microtech edge. I need out of the box. They generally do an excellent edge. And here we got our double edge Benchmade. It's tearing it. Yeah. Sort of so-so okay. It's still got the factory edge on that one. Haven't touched it up. So, yeah, Benchmade needs a little work. That is factory edge, as I said. All right, well, here we go again, trying to finish up. Don't forget to subscribe. Click the link right here. It's my symbol, my logo. And give it a like if you would. I would appreciate it. I put some effort into these. I'm a sole proprietor of this channel. No one helps me. I do it all myself. And maybe give you a little bit more content in the coming year. We're almost into 2025. This is late December 2024. And yeah, we'll do some collection vids. I know that you're waiting for those again. Be well, take care, stay safe.